The other thing I wanted to bring up was I know Chris and Mauler. I don't know if you have, Paul, but The
Hi,
Flash is
Muller.
out.
Hello.
Oh,
Mauler is a thing, which is on this stream. The Critical Doggo's here as well. You can probably see him over there.
Yeah, I see him there.
He's
Wonderful
not doing
dog.
much. He's playing it cards close to his chest right now. But yeah, most of you guys have seen The Flash, and I
have
guess I'd
not.
be interested to hear
Yeah.
some of your thoughts on it.
Who wants to go first?
I'm just
Mahler,
listening.
you go. Mahler, you go.
I haven't seen it either, so I'm just gonna let them go on this one.
Yeah.
Absolute disaster, complete mess. There's a metaphor in the film to describe time travel as like a big spaghetti bowl, and that just feels like more of a metaphor for the whole movie. The writing, the direction, the goals they had, it's all over the place. There's a bazillion different ideas, a big melting pot of nonsense. Though there was one or two jokes that I actually like smiled at, and it was it was always going to be fun to see Keaton back because I love '89 and Returns. So yeah, just seeing him do things, I was just like, there you go. But I try to keep my heart, securely locked in a box instead of rewarding them for literally just like there's a moment right where he's first introduced in the sort of Batman action type scene, and the theme's playing and the ship's going. He's doing all this, and I was just sitting there thinking like, you didn't make any of this. You've just stolen all of it from a better time. Which there's a fine line between that, and I've seen people comparing this with No Way Home. And it's like, how come this is getting shit on No Way Home isn't? It's like, I don't know, man. It's probably because No Way Home better incorporated and respected those characters and even added to their stories from when we last saw them. While this, one of the most key jangling experiences I think I've ever seen by the time you get to the end of it. Shameless. And I don't think people are going to be happy with this the more time goes on. I think that this is going to be known as a really tacky film that tried to appeal to nostalgic shit by like an attempt to do it and hide the absolute disastrous corpse that the film truly is writing wise. So yeah, I loved it.
Great.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't mention Ezra Miller in this. I mean, he's like, for me, he was the biggest flaw in the movie. I mean, set the writing aside for a moment. He's a side character. He was cast when Zack Snyder was casting the Justice League. So you've got three Mega Chad, Giga Chad, whatever you want to call it, for Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa. Not everybody can be the square-jawed, muscle-bound 6'6" hero. You need balance, right? So they cast Ezra Miller, and he was fine as a sidekick with little screen time, right? He wasn't the focus.
Good point.
You make him the focus of the whole movie, and that's where it breaks down. And not just you have one Ezra Miller, you have two Ezra Millers. So one's 25 years old, I guess, in the timeline, and the other one's about 18. So younger and even more annoying, and you have them for the first hour of the movie. That is the big problem. For me, though, and I'm sorry, I love '89 Michael Keaton Batman. It was as a lifelong Batman fan. I used to watch the Adam West series as a kid, the animated show, Super Friends, on, and just hoped one day there would be a serious Batman. When Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns came out in the mid 80s, I read every issue. It was like, as they were coming out, it was insane, but they'd never done a serious Batman until 1989. So I got sucked in when it came to his story. And ultimately, if you think about what happens at the end of the movie, it's tragic. It's tragic. He ended up in a world he couldn't save. And so I actually enjoyed, in a guilty, and guilty pleasure way, fine. I'm sure Mahler will criticize me for this, but it's my personal I like the parts with Batman. I like when it became a Batman movie.
I literally just said, like, I'm trying to... Those are the parts that I really like, too. I really liked him, but I'm trying to remain as, dare I use the word objective as possible, instead of just being like, there he is. I'm trying to be like, okay, why is he there? What is he doing? What is this world? What, is it all in line? Is it respectful? Is it fair? Or am I just sitting there enjoying the music and the costume and the vehicles and stuff?
And in a way, it redeems the choice that Kal-El made in Man of Steel that he was criticized for, which is killing Zod. Because if you don't kill Zod, your world will end. Like that. And it didn't make, what's her name, Kara, the Supergirl, it didn't make her a girl boss. She was, she was a formidable hero, but was ultimately she wasn't Superman. She was not Superman. And I like those aspects. I like that idea. I like that concept. I wish they took it more seriously instead of goofy throwing burritos into microwaves or eating, like that opening sequence. I did like Ben Affleck, having the colors of the Frank Miller Dark Knight. That was very obviously Frank Miller Dark Knight. And I like, there's been an effort to desexualize women in movies just overall. So seeing Gal Gadot's ass briefly under her miniskirt.
I've heard about this.
Yeah. Sounds like what's going on, Chato? Is there a dead body that's being...
No, it's my bull terrier who's doing a bully freak around the house.
Oh, well, there you are.
You just get yourself a greyhound, man. They don't move for about 24 hours a day.
Yeah. But yeah, so like it was a weird mix. It's also, this movie's come out like so late. It should have been released years ago. And the CG, I thought the CG when I saw it was temp. My understanding it's the final, because the CG is bad. Like it's like
that's what I've heard.
W bad. Like
it's bad.
It's bad. It's embarrassing. Like I don't know. My feeling is, I think Gary said this in his review. It seems like they cut him off and said, we're not spending any more money. Like those could have been temps or first drafts, and they just said, just use it. Who cares? And a lot of it is the solve for bad CG is just make it darker so you can barely see it. And they did that, that's why in the first Godzilla, that movie, I mean, the one by, what's the name? Garth, oh my God, I'm spacing on the name, but just like it rained the whole movie because they couldn't afford good CG.
I mean, I've heard as well, like it's been reshot multiple times. They didn't know what they wanted to do with it, and so like it's a bit of a patchwork quilt of a movie. Is that the case?
Yes.
Or
it feels that way. It feels like that too.
But we're getting so many of these. How do you spend $200 million? Well, let's say that's your starting budget, and not get the writing in this thing storyboarded. I mean, anything I've done, I've storyboarded to within an inch of its life, and everyone knew, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what it looks like. I mean, I don't get it. Like,
is it studio interference? Maybe like halfway through, like they just step in and start like mandating that stuff has to be done.
Yep, I've seen it. I mean, this is from the old Warner Brothers regime too. And I've seen execs just destroy, mostly television shows. That's just hilarious. I mean, sad and hilarious. Yeah, I would say so. I would say the main people working on it probably did storyboarded it out and figured out how this was going to work, but someone threw a bomb in it.
Because I think and probably DC particularly has suffered from this, right? Is this constant stumbling from one failure to another without understanding what the problem is. Like, they obviously realize that something is not working about their movies, and so they're trying to fix it on the fly because they've got multiple projects in production. It's an extended universe. There's always more movies in the pipeline. And so they're always like trying to step in and retroactively like improve films that are already on the go. In light of what happened with the previous one, but they don't really understand what the problem is, and so you just end up with these films that are just creative, like Frankenstein's monsters of movies.
I
bunch of
believe
different
it has,
people changing stuff.
It has more to do with the fact that they see what someone else is doing, and they want it to be like that. So I'll give you an example. Man from U.N.C.L.E., which all you guys are probably too young to have seen, in the 60s, started off first season a really good spy drama. Second season, Batman became hugely successful. Batman came out, the ABC Batman. And then NBC went, you're turning this camp. So they went from really good James Bond level spy stuff with cool gadgets to Batman camp in one season because the executives wanted it to be that way. They're always chasing someone else's dream. And that's what I sniff. That's what I smell on these properties.
I think Justice League was the prime example of that, where it was straight up, we want to have an Avengers kind of movie for the
there
DCU.
you go. Yep.
Okay, just give us the guy who did the Avengers then. Halfway through making the film. And look what we got.
I like how DC just mop up Marvel's sloppy seconds sort of things that like with James Gunn now as well.
I mean,
That could be it.
It's a fascinating case study in how to like just mismanage and essentially take a brand that should give you every advantage under the sun, like way more recognizable characters in terms of like superheroes. Like everyone who, even people who've never read a comic book in their lives, know who Batman is. Everyone knows who Superman is. You know, like putting them into a franchise, like you should have just box office gold as long as you've got like a basic grasp of storytelling. But their desire to constantly play catch up with Marvel, to have their own cinematic universe like ready made without having any prep work or anything done, they essentially like got in their own way and tripped over their own feet and just like absolutely destroyed this amazing opportunity that they had. And it's man, it's such a shame because they even had great actors involved playing these characters. Like Henry Cavill was a fantastic Superman. Ben Affleck was a fantastic Batman. Gal Gadot was a fantastic Wonder Woman.
Yeah, sure.
They, for the most part, they were just lumbered with terrible movies.
Yeah.
She looked great as Wonder Woman, I'll give you that.
She did look great, yeah. Acting.
The first Wonder Woman was good.
Yeah.
The first Wonder Woman was a fine movie, I think. I think that was a pretty entertaining film. And when she came out of the foxhole and went after the Germans in slow-mo, that was a total... Snyder moment. That was pretty fantastic. The audience was cheering.
Chris, I was going to ask you, especially since I got you, what about the whole like? Why did Batman have to be convinced to save the world?
Yeah, they don't really make it because his world is Gotham, right? And he basically solved crime in Gotham. It's fixed, so to speak, right? And I don't know. It's because Joseph Campbell refusal of the call, right? They're following a format. I don't know.
You gotta you gotta do you gotta like be like Zod is coming to destroy the whole world. He's like, nah, I'll pass. That's what he says. It's like no.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know because they feel like it's one of those boxes they have to check. Like,
well, like so, I don't know why they wouldn't write it so that he's like, I'm out of commission, like I'm retired, I'm terrible. I'll make the situation worse than it is if I, something like that. But instead, he just goes like, nah, and that's it.
I mean, they should have had Michelle Pfeiffer in this movie, and he was retired, and they were married. Maybe there's another. Could have. I mean,
could. I don't know if I'd
retire with Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, but. I don't know. I don't know if I need that level of fan service from like Returns. Right. I kind of like that they don't end up, with an easy ending in that film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed him in it, but I was baffled by that. And I don't know. It was interesting hearing you compliment sort of Is it Supergirl or Superwoman? What is the Supergirl? Right? Yeah. Supergirl. So, I actually think I was surprised with how little she's in the film.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's I think why she was good. You know what I mean? She's no Helena. Let me just say, it's oh my god! I can't wait to hear you guys talk about Indiana Jones. I feel it's just yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like based on everything you've described, like
looking forward to it.
It's going to be open season on that movie. And the thing is, it's like everything I predicted, like right from the beginning.
So, do you know what a really weird and specific compliment I've got for The Flash that I don't think I have? I'm going to have to rely on chat and you guys' brains and histories for this one. I don't know if I've ever seen this in a film before. In the middle of a fight, Batman's fucking people up, punching, kicking, that sort of thing, and Ezra Miller tries to run past him, and he like switches turns, he's fighting, and then he punches Ezra almost by accident, doesn't give a shit, carries on, and Ezra falls to the ground like, jeez. And I was like, huh. that probably would happen, and it's kind of nice to see it. Like Batman's doing his shit, you get in the way, and he punches you fucking the hard in the face, and you just like go down to the ground. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be trying to cross over through him and stuff. I was like, when have I seen that in a film like ever? I was like,
That's like
oh.
something out of The Nice Guys or something. Like, you know, when he throws
It's
the gun
not,
to him and it just goes through the window because he doesn't catch it. Like-
That's the thing, though. It's not played for laughs. At least I didn't get the impression. It's almost played like a, yeah, idiot, don't cross in front of Batman while he's beating people up. I was just like, yeah, that's fair. Like, yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
I know it's happened before. I'm just trying to. I couldn't quite remember the last time I'd seen it, and I just found that fun. It's like a dynamic element of the fight, and every Batman fight, Affleck ones and Keaton ones, that was the most interested I was in the film. Probably the best stuff in the film.
Yeah.
I am going to go see The Flash, even against my better judgment. Indy, I'm not so certain.